Hello and welcome to The Vibe with Kai, our brand new web series called Kyrus Has Friends, where I prove to the world that I actually have a couple friends that like me, I think. I'm so excited to be here. This is episode 3, where we're sitting with a special guest. But before we get there, just a couple little plugs that I have to do here. If you like what you're watching today, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Vibe with Kai, or you can follow me on Snapchat at Kyrus Keenan. If you follow me on Snapchat, I do have a rule, and that is if you send me a picture of you smiling, I will always send a picture of myself smiling back. I am the true believer that smiles need to be shared with the world, so I will always respond with a smile if you send me one. And then last but not least, you can follow me on TikTok at Kyrus Keenan. And I go live on TikTok every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. where we jam out. Most recently, we jammed out to 90s hip-hop and R&B. Last week, we did 2000s hip-hop and R&B. We did Usher. We did Bruno Mars. And pretty soon, we're going to be doing an MJ night. It is going to be off the chain. So tune in on TikTok every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Kyrus Keenan. And then, of course, all of this stuff, it's on my website. You can visit my website, thevibewithkai.com. So that's enough about me. Let me tell you, I am stoked because I am sitting here with the one, the only, Devon Sinclair, performer, choreographer, director, extraordinaire, teacher. You are all of the above. You are more than just a triple threat, my friend. You are a bunch of things. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy, honestly.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's all. It's it's funny because like I feel like in today's seeing that we're in quarantine right now, it's so easy to feel sad and down. But to hear that people are happy that they're making the best of this situation, that's a lot. So like, how have you been doing during this whole quarantine life?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yes.
Like I have this thing about, and I'm very lucky. I don't know how to like engage in self-pity for too long, if that makes sense. So, I'm like, oh, projects got canceled.
Yeah.
But then like 10 minutes goes by and I'm like, all right, Devin, like get up, let's do something.
Yes.
But ultimately, like I think I'm good because I like genuinely like I'm a pretty positive person. But then also like I'm a fool, so I'm like I like most people I succumb to the trend that is TikTok.
Yes, I follow you, man. I'm a fan, man. I love dancers on TikTok, like dancers, because I can't do those dances. You can. I cannot do those dances at all. I try.
It's hard. I mean, let me take that back. The TikTok dances are hard because it's like if you can move your arms, you're good. But then like I've been like depending on like your brand, your market. Yes. Like now all the algorithms are like, oh, you like to dance. Here are all these crazy dancers, and I'm like, oh snap. That you hit 15 turns in a row. But I can't do that. I've also
is that what you've been doing to like pass the time? Like it's just like to help like ease things up a little bit.
I do pass the time. I go through waves, so
yes.
I can get very obsessive with things like that. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna like. I'll go through like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, where I'm like, yup, I got this idea. I actually have like a to-do list in my phone called TikTok to do.
No, do you really?
I do, and like there are good ones on there as well.
Yes, we have to do we have to do like an actual. I duetted one of yours already, but we need to do like an actual duet
absolutely.
For sure.
Like a smile off.
I
live for the smiles, dude.
That's all my followers ask for. It's like because I think you and I are the one black guys on TikTok that don't take off our shirts.
Yep.
Every other black guy shirt off. It's like a uniform.
Yep, and it's like, and it's funny because I'll look at other people's profiles, and as it shows you the view count, and you can look at someone's profile and be like, okay, like they've got like some nice popularity, whatever, and then you see like the thumbnail of the like little bit of thirst trap, and it's like, oh, look at those views and how they are exponentially higher. And it's like, that's the formula. Okay, so I need to whip out the 6-pack, put away the 6-pack. Gotcha.
Wait, while you have that, cheers, my friend.
Yes.
It is that kind of that kind of time. We are filming in the evening. We both had a long day, a long good day, but cheers.
Like and I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, it's time.
wait, I'm not even gonna front with you. Yesterday, it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was sitting there with my roommate, And like I'm working and she's working, we're doing our own thing, and like it wasn't a bad day. It was just one of those days at work where you're like, ah, right?
Yeah.
And I sat there at my desk and I was like, I'm gonna have a beer.
Yeah.
It's just 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, I'm gonna have
Beers,
a
they're like
beer.
80% water. You're just drinking, you're hydrating. You're good, bro.
I was
You're good.
hydrating. I just wanted to finish the day off strong, and it was refreshing, and
Mhm.
it ended up being like a super productive end of the day. So go me.
Yep. It brings new energy to you. People are like, do you have a
Yes.
problem? I'm like, actually, no, but I can give you a whole TED talk on why I don't. Like, like
I love it, man. Wait, so okay, so you found TikTok, and you
I cook now.
and you cook. Wait, what do you
Bro,
cook now? What do you cook?
bro, I am the king of the takeout. Like,
Yes.
I so I am always a workaholic. I'm like, what school do I have to teach at? What theater am I running to? Like, my favorite is just like the game I play sometimes when it's not Corona is how many states can I make it to in one day? So I like
What?
wake up in Pennsylvania. Like, let's say it's like a real productive day. Wake up in Pennsylvania. Let's pretend there's it's not World War Z in New York, and it's like we're gonna run to
Yes.
New York for a quick audition. Great, do that. Come back before possibly 3 p.m. to make it to one school. Be at a school from like 3 to 5:30. Make it. Then either usually it's like, all right, am I going to a second school for a night rehearsal or am I
Right.
going to a theater? But sometimes it's like, all right, go to second school from like 6 to 8 and then run to this theater to teach a dance from like 8 to 10:30. And I'm like, great, I just went from Philly to New York, back to Philly to grab my car to go to Jersey, from Jersey, go to Philly, go back to Delaware, and we're back in
Dude,
Jersey.
dude,
Like,
I let me tell you, and because I like we've known each other for less than a year. Like I've known of you. I've known
yes,
of you,
same, same.
but we've never like crossed paths until recently, and we'll get into that in a second. But if there's one thing that I realized about you, because I thought I was busy, right? Like the pre-corona days, like I thought that I was pretty busy.
Uh-huh.
And then I met a man named Devon Sinclair, who I'm gonna guess doesn't ever say no to
I,
projects.
I don't
And
like,
but you still, but here's the thing though, and this is one of the things that I admire about you, right? Is that you take on these projects, but there's never a complaint, and you always come in prepared, and you always are excited to be there.
yeah.
And like I
Like,
feel like that's rare.
we don't, so I, we don't, I think, operate enough under the idea in an arts world as if like people's time was money. Like if it was
Mm,
I'm paying you by the hour, so many directors would like run the rehearsal schedule a little differently. Like all of a
yes,
sudden everyone's really
yes,
being utilized, et cetera, et cetera. And because I teach so many students of different ages, I always say to them like, when do I get you? And you're like, what do you
yes.
mean? I'm like, it's Thursday. And I'm like, on Monday, you had a long weekend, you were tired. Great. Tuesday, you were feeling a little under the weather and you like didn't do well on this test. So you just were like not fully here with me. And I like, I'm empathetic and I got you. Yesterday was Wednesday and you're like, oh, sorry, Devin, it's just like hump day. I can't focus today. Like, I just like, I haven't eaten. I need food. And I'm like, great. Again, super empathetic. But now it's
Yes.
Thursday. I don't meet with you tomorrow. And every day I've met with you, it's never been 100%. So I'm working past 100 to try to make
Right.
sure I'm imprinting like what I need from you. So when you
Right.
are 100, you remember. But like, when do I ever get you at 100 if every day there's another thing? And I don't lie to my students. I will tell them straight up like, yo, that was trash, or like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you. That sounds like an excuse, not a reason. And I'm here for you. I got your back. I'm just letting you know that I'm hearing it as the fifth thing you've told me this week or in the span of 2 weeks. Again, I got your back. I'm not gonna let you go on stage looking like crap, but I need you to know what I'm hearing. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, right. Now also realize, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but
Right.
I'm coming in trying to give you the energy I want. Because two tired people don't make, like, that's a whole REM cycle right there.
Preach,
That's not,
preach, 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 preach.
oh.
Yes.
And that's why I'm king of the takeout. Because I'm like, yo, I don't got time to cook. Like, I'm gonna like slide through that drive-through, pick up this thing, and then let it get cold. Because as soon as I get there, I'm like, I eat a fry, and I'm like, all right, run this back. And I'm like, oh, my food. I just didn't get to eat it.
And now after all that, you said you're cooking, like you're
Oh,
cooking
yeah,
food
yeah, yeah.
on your stove, right? Like
Yeah,
actual
like,
food.
yes, on the stovetop in the oven. I just bought a new baking sheet. Like I'm really
Hey,
excited.
bacon sheets.
Chicken, like, so like before I was like, all right, I can put some beef in the pan, cook it up, and I can make some
Yes.
tacos. Easy. Like that's a pretty simple thing. Or like throw some pasta in the pan, but in the pot, boil it up, boom, throw some sauce in that bad boy, add a little flavor. pasta.
Hey,
Now I'm like,
do a little Salt Bay action, right? Just like
now I'm like, let me drizzle this barbecue sauce. I mean, actually, let me start back. Now I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take this chicken out. I'm gonna thaw it. I'm gonna create this marinade. I'm gonna like let it sit for a few hours, if not a whole night. Then I'm gonna like make sure it's extra tender. Then I'm gonna line the sheet, do all that stuff, season it again, flip it, throw on my timer.
What? Get out of here! You doing all of this?
Crazy. I've been doing. I haven't gotten super fancy yet with like.
You will. It looks like you're on your way.
Like I got my shrimp down, I got my chicken down.
Right.
I'm trying to get a chicken. I haven't had to do like the like flour chicken parm bread crust or anything.
Right.
But I have been like, you know what? What happens if I toss a little beer into that pan, get a little beer batter going?
Look at you. You know what? Watch this quarantine's you're gonna end up opening up a restaurant, and I'm gonna be there. I'll be like, yo, he had some time to cook, and I know it's good.
I just learned how to, and everyone who's watching this is gonna be like, that's not hard. I just learned how to make pancakes, and I'm like. Every day I would wake up like beginning quarantine. I'd be like, my roommate's name is Jason. I'd be like, Jason, can you make me some pancakes? He's like, no, like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I just want some pancakes. He's like, do I look like Matilda? Like, you make your own pancakes. And I'm like, but it's more fun when someone else makes you like, come on, you love me. Come on, bro. And he's like, no. He's like, why don't you just make them yourself? And I'm like, I don't know if you saw Matilda, but that looked like a lot of work. Like, And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. Open up the cabinet, get the box, and I'm like reading it. And he like comes out because he's like, let me make sure you don't burn down the house. Because again, king of the takeout. And I was like, wait, why does this just say add water? And he's like, because it's that simple. And I'm like, but for real? Like, yeah.
But I mean, that's a testament of just like us, our performer life in general. Because like you said, we're always on the run. And it's not often that we find ourselves at home to cook, because like we had to teach ourselves how to survive on the run, on the go. Yep. I'm pretty sure you're one of those people that you also keep like extra clothes in your car, extra shoes. Like,
let me tell you about my car. It's got a car bar. It's got a car closet. Like, we stay strapped. Like,
yes.
So many times do I go to an audition and someone's like, or like, dang, I forgot my belt. And I'm like, honestly, like, here are my keys. It's right outside the theater. Just
like, I got you.
I got you. Like, you just got to stay prepared. Like,
right. Well, now I know if I'm ever at an audition with you, now I know if I need some, I'll be like, yo, Devon, this shirt's not working for me. What you got?
Yo, I'll be like, I'll give you 3 different colors. I'm like, this one, if you're trying to look husky, here's the tight fit. This is that loose fit. Here's the primary colors versus the pastel. Like,
I can't. Wait, so one of the things I've always been curious about with you is like what or who inspires you to be what you are now? Because like I said, you're full of energy. You don't waste time. You're very straightforward. You're very just like gun ho, right? So like, I feel like that didn't just come out of nowhere. Are there any like people that you've worked with or people that you look up to that you're just like, boom, that inspired me?
All right, I have the like, as soon as you said the question, I knew the answer. I have that answer.
Yes.
But then I'm going to give you like, before I get there, because I can go off on that.
Yes.
I genuinely think with every production and anything I work on, I shouldn't even say production, but I try, like, my idea is like, and this is not anything new, but take something away from it. You learn something.
Right.
And like, for instance, when we worked together, I was like, yo, he really is coming. Like, I know I come in prepared, but I think watching you from the production side, the way you structured your emails, the way, like, there are a lot of things I think I have in mind. I'm like, I want to do this, by like always finding an excuse not to do it. But then seeing you do it, I'm like, nope. Kyrus showed that like you can get results if you do that extra mile. So like, note it that I can take that thing I want to do and just do it. So I think I take a little bit from everywhere I go, but if we like really, really like dig down from like even childhood Devon, and I'm gonna pull up my phone because it's my phone background. Like, I gotta give it up to Queen B, like Beyonce. I'm like, yo, and it sounds, I hate to say it because it sounds so cliche because everyone's like,
Queen.
She's overrated. The fans say too much, but I, as an artist, I'm like, she's been working from day one. And it's not like, great, I've made a name for myself and I can sit on this throne now and chill. I'm like, yo, excuse me.
We're not editing that out, by the way. That's going in. That's going in.
Fun fact, I can burp on command. I try to do it in every audition. That's a goal of mine.
Fantastic. Do you put that on your resume too?
I haven't yet.
Oh,
because
come on, you gotta do it.
If I just do it, they think it's natural.
Special skills. Right on the special skills. British accent. Has a license. Burp on
Burp on
command.
command. It is in one of my most used monologues. I always end with, oh, I can also burp on command. And the best times are when I do a really, like, crappy burp, and I'm like, and I go, wait, sorry, that was the end of the monologue, but I need to give you an actually good burp now, because that was terrible. But Beyonce,
Yes.
that
That's
woman
a good segue. That's a good
so
segue,
hard,
by the way.
and I'm, because burping, obviously. I'm like, yo, she's so dope. And I'm trying to, like, I'm doing a disservice by just summing it up to that, but I know I could rant forever. But, like, and I am a very straightforward person, how you mentioned, and there's, I think growing up as, I don't know, and I'm not trying to get too, like, political, because I was just
fine.
listening to,
This is real talk. That's how we roll.
right.
That's how we roll here. Real talk.
I was just listening to a podcast that was talking about the sociology of how, like, Black men portray themselves as a defense mechanism to, like, not look threatening.
Yes.
And I feel like, you know, just generally growing up as a Black man, I'm like, how am I coming off always? Like, you know, am I just how I'm always.
Yes.
So I feel like for the longest I had this ideal of, like, okay, I don't want to look cocky, I don't want to look narcissistic, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I think I'm like, and I finally got to a point, and I've been this way for a long time, I can't even say finally, but I'm like, yo, no, I can say what I want if I'm confident in what I've worked for. Yes. And this interview I was watching yesterday, it was with one of Beyonce's dancers, and she was like, at the VMA performance, I had to come up out of the ground, like, you know, in 30 seconds and put this fur coat on her. And, like, we're in rehearsal, and she turns to me and she goes, don't block my light. And she wasn't trying to be rude by any means, but it was real of, like, I have a job to do, and, like, put that coat on her, but also at the same time, don't block my light. And she's like, oh my God, like, how do I see the light? Because I'm behind you. But, and it's like, you got to tell people what's up because you've worked for a certain product. And that goes into, like, a whole greater conversation.
If there's one thing that I've realized about Beyonce, well, there's two things. Number one, she is where she is for a reason, right? Like, she worked her butt off, and whether you like her music or not, she got there for a reason, and she's damn good at it, right? Number two, she is really, really good at controlling her brand and her image.
Woo!
She is so good at it, because how often do you hear any, outside of the elevator incident, which we won't talk about, but outside of that, how often do you see anything about her and, like, with paparazzi or any kind of rumors or any kind of, like, leaked album or anything like that? No, she is in control of every aspect of her life, not just the performances, but every aspect of her life. And because of that, because she has that control, she's able to do things and put out surprise albums and, like, you know, all of this stuff, because she has that control, and people listen to her and people respect her.
And you, like, can say, great, if you don't want to abide by my terms, you don't get to use me. Right. And that's, I've been talking to so many other artists recently about, you know, there's no magical, of course there are unions, but there's no magical rate that's like, a choreographer should get paid this, a director should get paid this, a director choreographer should get this, because, you know, you have retention and loyalty, and then some people's work is stronger than others, so they get more, and, like, it's so subjective, and it's like, how do you give people their props? And, like, coming out of quarantine, even right now, I'm so curious of theaters that typically offer a stipend, and it's already was a thing going on, but then actors who it's like, I have conflicts because I have to do these jobs to pay my bills. But I'm less desirable to you now because I have these conflicts, but you're not paying me enough to make you my end all be all. And so I've been talking to them, like, you know, it gets to a point where you just got to go, here's what it is. I would love to be here with you, and these are my stipulations. Or another actress I was talking to was like, I got to bring my kid sometimes, and if you want me, you're going to go with that, because you know that the product you're going to get is worth it, because I've worked to make myself like, you're going to get something that I'm not going to, like, give you a crappy product. Like, I'm if I'm here, I'm going to be here is my thing.
And I know for me, and it's probably the same for you, like I will take on projects, you know, because I like having fun, and I don't take performing or anything or directing for granted. But I'm at a point now that, like, yes, I will take on a project, but, like, I feel like I'm at a point now where I can dictate a lot more terms, right? Where I'm able, I know what I'm capable of doing. I know that I can surround myself with people like you and Michelle for The Wiz, which we'll talk about in a second. But I feel like a lot of times people are afraid to dictate what they feel they deserve or what they're worth. And I don't think that people should ever forget their worth, because the minute that you forget your worth, people will walk all over you. All over you. And you can't allow that to happen, especially as a Black male or a Black female or a person of color in this industry. Because, I mean, you know this. How many times have people called us when they needed a Black person? Hey, we need a Seaweed. We need a Richie and Chorus Line. Come on, right?
Like, not even, hey, here's the initial audition, but crap, now I'm floundering, and if I just get one, I've covered my bases.
Right. Rehearsals start next week and we haven't found anybody yet. Can you be our Black guy? Right. And like, just don't get me wrong. Like a lot of my some of the greatest opportunities of my life have come from performing in, you know, some of these productions where, I mean, I was a last minute thing. Hey, we need a comfort counselor for spelling bee or something like that. Right. I've had some great experiences. But my thing, and this is, I'm speaking specifically for New Jersey theaters and PA theaters, because those are the only ones that I've really worked at. But like, I feel like it's important, if you want to bring in some of the Black or people of color, with Asian, Hispanic, anything like that, if you want to bring in these people for those race-specific roles, I think that they need to do a better job at reaching out to them for any other time that they need people, right? When you're doing Oklahoma, reach out to people of color too and be like, hey, we're doing this, come out and audition. Because like, you're gonna have a better chance of reaching those people of color when you actually do need them, because they know that you're not calling them just because they're Black or because they're Asian or because they're Spanish. They're calling you because you've worked with them before. They you know,
they like the space. It's a whole. Actually, can I share something with you?
Yeah.
So there's a term I use now. I've refused to use the word token anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, so like you're the token Black guy, and I'm like, no. And this happened when maybe like 3 years ago, I think 3 or 4. I was in a show, and I was the only Black guy, and it actually had not crossed my like radar yet. I just was like, I'm up to a job. It's a theater I've worked at before. I love it. Love a lot of the people in the cast, and I just, you know, I'm at the first read through, vocal rehearsal, whatever. I'm like, great, lit.
Yeah.
And I forget what the inciting comment was, but it was something of like, that's outlandish. And this dude was like, oh, I mean, well, we got a Black cowboy, so I guess anything's possible. And I was like, and he wasn't saying it to be, you know, like malicious, but like it was literally the first moment that I was like, oh snap! Am I but is that weird that we're Black? But and like now I'm overthinking my job, but I'm like, you know what? That's fine, because I'm not the token. I'm the highlight. So
boom, get out of here with that. I love every second of that. Come on now.
Preach. Down like, oh, are you like the Black token of the show? I'm like, no, but I am the Black highlight. So boom. Like, you're already going to look at me, one, because I could be the darkest thing on the stage. You're going to also possibly look at me because I'm the tallest thing on the stage. You also, no matter what, they're going to look at me because ain't nobody, and if I'm in the ensemble or if I'm like, whatever is my hierarchy of worlds, let's say, like, no one's about to outdo me right now. Because like, the last thing we're going to do is be in Newsies, and I'm just going to be another one. No, I'm not going to be the tall one. I'm not going to be the Black one. I'm going to be the damn good one that's going to grab your attention. Like, you might look at me because of this, but you're not going to take your eyes off of me because of this. And that's the highlight.
And so, I mean, as a choreographer and a director, you know, and you know, that like the people that put in the work to stand out on that stage, we remember that stuff. We remember that because we know when it comes to casting, when we're sitting there in that audition room and we're picking people to join our cast, sometimes it's not just about talent.
Oh, never. I mean, I will always, like, I could care less if you can kick your face if there's nothing on it. I'm going to always take the better actor, in theory, over the better singer or better dancer. But also, I want the human. Like, you can be hitting those 4 turns, and I'm like, oh, God, but every time I work with them, it's such a headache. It's such a, why is his water's not room temperature? Can we fix that? And, you know, that's a little outlandish, but like, those things, I'm like, that person that takes, I'm also actually, one of my like personal mission statements, it's just like ownership and just like attacking the moment. So when I'm in a show, I don't believe in the idea of wasting time of like, now, don't get me wrong. You got to read your script. You got to like get to know your character. You got to spend that time. But Rome wasn't built in a day, but it also, actually, this is not even a good metaphor. What I'm trying to say is that
I was with you though. I was with you.
Right. I'm like, oh, but like okay, Rome wasn't built in a day, but you also didn't just like you come up with different plans. Like, so yes. I'm gonna do this day one and hope that my director, my choreographer, my vocal director is like, something's off, or yes, that's working. Continue with that. If I wait till week 5 to all of a sudden start making choices, now it's like they've been building a show based on my timidness and my just insecurities of I'm gonna let that person take the lead. And I'm like, listen, okay, prime example, I was in Hairspray, and there's the dodgeball scene.
Yes.
And the way the director was staging it at the time, he just was like, all right, so there's these musical hits, and you're gonna go like stop. We're gonna go like 60% speed, everybody move, and then like try something. And we're just gonna see what works, what doesn't work, and I'll tell you. And we did it the first time, it worked. He was like, all right, now the second pass, maybe somebody throw that ball, someone else cross. Everyone choose your own adventure. This dude was just like in front of me on the floor, like leg kind of up. And I'm like in the freeze, and the director's like counting us in, and I'm like, I'm gonna go for it. We're talking the day of my life. I grab his leg and just drag him across the stage on his belly, and he like recognizes. He's like, "Whoa!" But then the director's like, "I love that. Can you just take him a little more upstage?" And I'm like, "Yup." And I'm like, "Oh, by the way, sorry, my name's Devon." He's like, "I'm here." He's like, "Now that I know you're gonna do, like, you should always ask, I guess, for permission." But I'm also, once people start thinking too much, they get in their heads, and it's like,
that's a note I give all the time. Don't think, just do. Just do. Just do it. I mean, within reason, obviously, but like, don't think, just do. So like, this is one of the things I love about you. So I want to talk about The Wiz for a little bit. So we met the day of auditions. So I knew that you were my choreographer, and we knew of each other. We had tried to get together like before
schedules,
the actual audition, but like I said, we're both like crazy busy people pre-quarantine. So we didn't get a chance, but we talked to each other or whatever. But like, we didn't actually meet until the day of audition. So like, we didn't know, like, going into it, we didn't know what the hell was going to happen. I'm like, what if I hate him? What if he hates me?
Terrible.
We were like, oh God, right? But let me tell you, me, you, and Michelle just clicked like immediately. And that, I feel like that never happens. We just happened to just like right off the bat, we walked into auditions, we're like 5, 6, 7, 8.
I was waiting for the moment of like, oh crap, here we go. It's not working out. And it just like kept going so well, and I was like, oh, this might be a lit process.
Right.
And I judge every show by the rehearsal team personally.
Yes.
Because I've been at some low budget theaters, and I've been at some like high budget theaters, and those experiences are never based on the full theater. It's always, that team of leadership. And I'm like, all right, and art is some people are so personal, so passionate about their art, as I can be myself. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And it was like something stupid happened, or like someone had a weird, crazy audition, and I think we both were just like, yo, that's crazy. And we looked at each other, oh, this is about to work. Okay, let's talk about it. Well, I wouldn't have made that choice. Did you make that choice? Okay, but like we can.
And the true testament. And this is when I knew for sure that we would be fine, because like everybody, like people that aren't part of the casting process or haven't been part of the casting process, you should know that the hardest part of all of that is to narrow things down, right? Because you obviously have your list of people that you're like the choreographer is like, okay, I like this group of people. The music director's like, I like this group of people. The director's like, I like this group. And then of course you have the producer like, blah, 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 right? So, and then you have like all of these people like in everybody's ear, blah, blah, blah. So like, that was probably going into it my biggest fear, which is like, what if we have just completely different visions of this show? And like, I think that this person's great, but this person, blah, blah, blah. But like, casting it was fairly straightforward.
It was pretty smooth.
Right. It went pretty well and a lot faster, because I'm not, I know some people like to like gestate over things over a long period of time, but like I kind of like to just go with my gut sometimes. And I think we cast it fairly quickly, if not within 24 to 48 hours.
I remember I was at the front of the stage with the headshots, and you were like, I really think I like this person. I'm like, great, boom. Yep. I'm like, now I'm gonna be real. I think these 3 people will be dope dancers, and maybe that's the mouse and that's the lead person, and you're like, yup, and we're like, great, ba 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 ba. What you think about? Now these could go either way.
Right.
Feeling, I think this person has this strength, this person has this strength, but we want this role to have this. Switch the
Yes. And we just all spoke the same language, which was so important, because communication is so key with these shows. And people would be surprised, because like, obviously we don't, if there is any sort of like disruption within the production team, like I'm a huge advocate for like, let's just not let the cast know about this. We'll like, just whatever you feel about me, whatever you feel about whatever, leave the cast out of it. Let's handle it, outside of rehearsal, whatever. Huge advocate for that. And so, but like, generally speaking, like, we were all pretty much on the same page. And let me tell you one of my favorite things about working with you. My favorite thing about working with you is that when I would go into like a blocking, and I would go into blocking, and I would have like the general idea of the scene. I would know where people wanted to go, what I wanted them to fairly do, and even for like the big group scenes, like I knew how I wanted them to enter and blah, blah, blah. But what you would do is you would come in after I would block something, and then you would like, I call it in my head like the Devon flair, because like you would come in and you would have like this idea for something. You'd be like, hey Kai, what if we blah, 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 or what if this person did this, and what if this person did this, and then I'll be like, oh shit, yeah. Right. and then I would be like, okay, let's take a look, let's see what it would look like, and then it would happen. I'm like, oh shit, awesome. And then like, even for the group numbers, I'd be like, okay, I want this group to enter here, and I want them to enter here. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they're gonna be entering. Right. Can you give them something to do? And then sometimes I would spring this on you like 5 minutes right before rehearsal, and you'd be like, got it. And you would come in, you'd be like, okay, ba 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 ba. And you would have it. You would teach it as if you've been gestating over this for like months and months and months.
I don't know what that is, but like, my brain luckily does think really fast like that. Like, I could have a career on just doing it in the moment, but like, I'm like, I want my art. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I like to stay on my toes. So I'm like, all right, all I need you to tell me are like, what's your biggest priority?
Right.
What's the vibe?
Yep.
Okay. And then my brain also always thinks, what is everyone gonna do?
Right.
And then now what's 3 steps under that? Because it's like, everyone has like, oh my gosh, like sorry, actually no, I could spiral into a whole nother thing. I just hate the idea of reproducing art for the sake of just putting it up or other people's artistry.
Right. Yes. I 100% understand that.
Kyrus, oh my God, I could go off. It like reaches into my soul, and I'm like, hey, why do I do this? Or like, I heard you want me to do this, or like, what's the choice behind it? And like, oh, I saw that on the Broadway production.
Oh God, stop it.
I'm not Harry Connick Jr. I'm not Ephraim Sykes. Like, what's our version? Like, do we have that same budget? Because I don't think we do.
Right.
So, what's up? Okay, I'm motivated. But
it's so easy to go down that route, right? Because like, there's a lot of things on like YouTube and things that you can go online and just like look at. And like, listen, I have no problem like looking at things for contextual purposes, like, or to get a better feel for what the heck is going on, right? Because some shows need that, right? Where you just need to like see it, right? Whether it's in person or it's online, or maybe listen to the soundtrack, whatever. Of it. Right. Like, that's perfectly fine. Like, I watch shows all the time just to see what people have done and whatever, right? But like, when you base your entire show
Kyrus
off the stuff that has already been done, what's the point? What is the point?
It is to make that director or choreographer or whoever, is to make that artist look as talented, or to give them the same acclaim that someone else deserved. Like, and it grinds my, like, I'm like, actually, like, notice my voice is changing. I'm putting like
you got a little bass in the voice. Like,
yeah, I'm like, my mission statement in like theater right now, or like, oh God, I'm so over old white creatives, in quotes, getting work over myself or other very strong creatives by reproducing the same tired, exhausted work of other old white male creatives.
Preach. You are preaching right now. I am in church, and go
like,
on. Mm-hmm.
No. Dum, dum, dum. Like, I was in a rehearsal, and like also because like I work as both a performer and like on the other side, I always think like if I'm performing, how can I aid my director? How can I aid my choreographer?
Right.
If I can see their vision, or if they can articulate it to me, I can do whatever I can to contribute to it in my mind. So I also, because I try to learn from others, when I am performing, I'm just like, great, let me learn this person's style. Like that might be super efficient, and I never thought of this method. And I was watching this guy, and I could see that he was kind of like, I'm not prepared for rehearsal today. Right. And I hear him call over the dance captain. He goes like, can you pull this show up on Netflix really quick, and just really quick go to your score, write it down. He's like, I'm gonna have like the music director just do a quick review of it, but if you can write it down, I'll say a couple things, but then we can just give them the same block, I guess, the other one. And I wanted to walk out and be like, I'm not gonna be in this number. Like, why are we doing like? And that it's funny because that number took the longest for the staff to feel most comfortable with. Like, they were like, it's good, and then we got to the theater and they're like, oh, it's not reading well enough. And I'm like, because it didn't have purpose. You just you said move left, move right. Right. It was like, you pulled it out of your ass why we should do it. And, you know, we're talented, so we're like trying to do it. And, you know, I don't want to be petty and be like, no, direct. Right. At the same time, I need someone who like has status to just realize that this person keeps getting work by just reproducing someone else's work. And it was dope the first time it was done, but now it's just a cop-out.
Right, and let me clarify. I have nothing against like taking like things that are maybe iconic or like chorus line choreography or something, right? Like I totally get it, like that kind of stuff, you know, or maybe there was something that like, you know, that one section in the song 96,000 at the end and in the Heights when they're like, go tiptoe and watch it, and then like the lights are flickering and things like that, and people are in slow motion, like fine, right? But my issue comes when you take an entire number, if not the entire show, and just try to recreate it. And I mean, if that's how you want to do it, if that's your vision, then hey, you know what, more power to you.
Your vision.
Right. If that's how you want to approach it, I mean, fine, that's on you. But like, I feel like at that point, it's not really a challenge anymore. The challenge isn't coming up with artistry. The challenge is, okay, how close can I get it to what people saw on Broadway? Saw, you know, off Broadway, or saw at the Walnut or something like that.
I think sometimes I'm just like, can everyone tell me what the goal is? Like, if the goal is to prove, hey, we can make it look like them too, great. I just need to know that from Jump Street. Don't hit me with some speech about making something like unique and magical and like for this group of people, we'll never have this group again. Well, why are we doing what that group did? Like, but
I'm with you. So like, here's another question I have for you. And then we'll get back to the Wiz for a second. But as a Black performer, do you find it difficult to navigate that at all? Like, do you feel like you don't have as many? And I'm talking strictly from like the community theater / semi-professional side of things. Okay. Do you find that you have less opportunities that like to play roles that are non-traditionally Black than, you know, than other people?
So it's a great question. I don't know if I can.
Did I stump you? Are you
like
stumped?
The answer
Did I win? Did I win the interview?
Like the answer is like in theory yes, but then also like I always am at such an odds of myself because then my creative side is like, but it is possible, Devon, that you just weren't right for that part and someone was. Right. It's not their fault that they looked more like the original. But like what it does is that it creates this anxiety, and this anxiety, that's the perfect word for it, in I think all persons of color, because I'm trying to get in the head of the director, the casting director, and at the end of the day, it's like, just go in there, do your thing, and hopefully be the thing they need. Absolutely. But when you're told for so long, you can only be this. You are only seen as this. Now I'm dreaming like to bite into this character or bite into this like role, and I'm like, man, that'd be great, but I don't know if I'm working with someone who only sees it as the first time they saw it on Broadway, or someone who's like, you know what? Like for instance, I played Lumiere and Beauty and the Beast at Candlelight.
Yes. Yo, that's awesome. Yeah.
I like dream role since I was like a kid. And what auditioning for that show made me realize is that there are certain things that, like in my mind, when people are like, what are your 5 dream roles? I'm like, oh, I don't know if I have them anymore because nothing's guaranteed, all that stuff. But then I'm like, wow, no, that role, like I've always identified with it, but I almost created now this wall in my head because of others. And I'm like, oh, I can never play that part. And sure enough, I wrote it on my form, went in, did it, auditioned, like got the call back for it, but I still was like, they're gonna go with some French-looking white guy.
Right.
His accent's gonna be more genuine and whatever. And I remember when I got the call of like, hey, we want to offer you like Lumiere. I was like, what you talking about? Like, wait, all right, okay, all right, but for real. And I like got like so worked up, and I was with people all the time, and they were like that's so good. And I like was so speechless. I was like, wow, they really, like, I mean, they're not taking a chance, but when for so long it's let's go with what we know, I'm like, I want to applaud them, but that's not special. You should do this. But ooh, it's such a mind, you know what I mean? So I'm like, like it's like yes and no, where I'm like, I want to prove that I can play all those roles and do all those things. And sure enough, I see, oh, you're calling me now because you're doing Ragtime or you're doing this or whatever more than some other show. But at the same time, I'm like, it happens occasionally where it works out, but you know, it's hard.
So the reason I ask is because I remember having a conversation with an old friend of mine that she would say this. She would say, I would say that like as a Black actor, I don't get as many opportunities to perform, and she would say, as a white female, there's more competition, so I don't get as much opportunity.
In that world. Yes, like I don't disagree with her. I think that I think I am more desirable because there are in theory less of me. I'm a Black actor, so I'm going to make your possibly predominantly white theater look more diverse. So that's a pro on your side and my side. I'm a Black actor who can dance. Woo, right there, it's like,
oh shit, what are you? You are a unicorn.
We got a pirouette over here. So it's like, all right, that's you. Like, so I recognize those things for myself.
Like the advantage that we have in that standpoint, yes.
Right, and it's, you know, Memphis says it best. Everybody wants to be Black on a Saturday night. So I'm like, great. I'm gonna look, you know, and I work at like bar and bat mitzvahs as well on the weekends, like when there's not a global pandemic. So I see that firsthand, where like all the kids, like the second like lights are low and you like, you know, I'm like, oh, what do you want to put on? They're like, you got like Lil Yachty, you got Lil this. I'm like, I don't even. And they're like, yeah, you know, and I'm like, I don't know, like that's not, like, I know a little bit, like I give you a little something, but like you're assuming a lot right now. But I see you're trying to get your life, and like, okay, let's say music has no bounds. I see you, Lil 13 Steinberg, but all of a sudden on Monday, it's not as like, or when I meet the family for the first time, like the kid is a lot more like subdued and it's just like whatever. But then like once those lights go down and the music is pumping, everybody wants to feel into that energy. So I'm like, great, I know that I'm desirable for those reasons.
Right.
And it gives sometimes certain audiences just like, how do you do that? Like, like in Being the Beast, for instance, like I was the danciest candlestick you'll ever fucking find. That was like my Lumiere. Like, I'm like,
you made it your own. You made it your own thing. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, that candlestick is the host of that kitchen. He should know every single utensil's name. And I ad-libbed every single ensemble member's like character name into it. And I'm like, and I'm gonna dance around because that's my home. Like I might be a candelabra, but I'm home now. And oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. This was so relevant. I just got so excited. Like kicking. So like I got these like 6'4" legs, so I can like kick my face. But there are definitely girls who are actually kicking their face. But for whatever reason, patrons will always be like, wow. Now, don't get me wrong. Thank you. That's that Black highlight. That's that spark you like right there.
Right.
But that person might have been a little more flexible or hit that note a little better than me. But you're drawn to me because it's that like desirable.
Right.
Ooh,
right. Right. One of the things that you alluded to, and I love this because I always recommend that people that especially to actors, like to young actors that I mentor, I always recommend to them, don't just act. If you find an opportunity to choreograph or to direct or to stage manage or to do lights or whatever, like do it, because it ends up giving you like perspective, like so many different perspectives, right? So can you talk a little bit about what it's like to be a choreographer that's also still an active performer,
Yeah.
and how it influences, like how each one can influence each other?
It's dope. Like even when I direct, I'm like I try to look out for like, okay, I need to let these artists be their artists.
Right.
And find your artistry, do your thing, but there is something where I'm like, they hired me for this reason. If they like this about me, so I'm going to bring these things of myself to this. So being able to get that, like anything I do on stage, I almost like need to see a video of myself. Now,
Right.
if I like you, in theory, I trust my artistic team till the day I die. So I'm like, what's up? But if I'm getting conflicting notes from what I feel and what I'm seeing, especially if like I see that that person is clearly, and I'm not trying to give anyone else notes as a fellow performer, if I see that they are not giving you what you want and you're just not giving them the note, and then you come to me a certain way, I'm like, I don't know if I can trust you. Like, like, okay. So I need to like see what the audience sees, because I'm just a fan of video, because I'm like, I need to know what
That's
I
important.
think about. Yeah. And it just helps to know viewpoints. Like let's say I'm in an ensemble of a show. When I go, best believe when I'm making those choices, I'm checking, okay, that person's on my diagonal. So the sight line of house right is a little skewed. So I need to stand just a little bit more here so that they can also see me. I'm not trying to still focus, but I do have viewpoints. And okay, I'm listening more, because I would think if I was directing this scene, or either way, I'm listening to my director of what is the priority of this scene.
Right.
That's the story that needs to get across.
Right.
Now, how is my character going to get its life in this scene while not pulling focus? But if you were, for whatever reason, to watch me, you're going to know my arc. You're going to know my subplot. You're going to know whatever.
Right.
So it helps to be able to.
It adds a depth to it, a much needed depth to a lot of, especially for some of the musicals nowadays. Like it adds a lot of much needed depth to it. 100%.
Yeah, and it's knowing that it's not just stand and watch this white man tap and sing. Tap and sing. I walk over here.
Those are my favorite type of shows.
You know,
and watch this white man tap and sing. Hey.
But I'm like, wow, he said that. I'm listening. I have a subplot over here. I'm back. He said what? Let's go up and rap. You know. But yeah, choreograph, like it just gives me a third eye, honestly. I think that's the easiest way to sum it up. Anytime I direct, anytime I choreograph as a performer, then I'm not trying, I recognize when I'm in what role, but it helps me just help the creative team. If and actually, I think the biggest thing for me, even as a choreographer and as a director, having been an actor and still acting, I'm fighting more for them. I'm fighting for everyone, but for whatever reason, communication is the hardest thing for people to do. And I really don't think it has to be. So when I'm on that other side of the table, I very much, like if I'm just choreographing, I will listen to my director and I will watch my actors. And I imagine how I would take it if I was an actor. And I watch the reactions and I go, yep, you just had the same thought as me. Great. Now, I know what you're trying to say because we've had background conversations, but you're so caught up in your moment that you're just not articulating it the way they need. So it helps me be able to be that middleman sometimes and be like, hey, what we're trying to get to is this. Think intention-wise, this. Do whatever you like. Choose your own adventure. We'll let you know if it looks off. But this is the goal here. And it's like, director's like, yes, thank you. And actors are like, oh, okay.
I can personally attest to that. Yes.
Right.
That's awesome. And so like that, and that brings me to this. So it's official now. This is official. And if you haven't heard, this is breaking news. Mr. Devon Sinclair will be directing and choreographing Memphis at the Candlelight Theater in Delaware. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being super excited, 10 being god awful, super duper duper excited. How excited are you?
Bro, it's like 100. It really is. Like this quarantine. Like, so my probably like biggest flaw in life is that when it comes to real life things, I'm like, taxes. Do I have time to look at things? I'm like, let me look at this script. Like, so now that all this like everyone's like, okay, Like, are you collecting your unemployment? Are you this? And I'm like, yeah. Can y'all work out the kinks first? Because I'm really over here just like obsessing over Memphis right now.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
so
exciting,
stoked.
man.
I'm
That's gonna
so
be
stoked.
so much fun.
Yeah, and what I love most about Memphis is that people race to Hairspray always. And great, you know. And don't get me wrong, Mark Shaman, that music I could literally dance to it for the rest of my life.
Sure.
But as much as everyone's like, oh, it's so great because it's so diverse and interracial, I'm like, well, as someone who's been in this show many times, let me tell you that I'm not, especially depending on my artistic team, I'm not leaving my green room for like quite some time. And then I come out to like be in detention and go away. That was just like a 2-minute thing. And then I'm gonna come back up and wait, guess what? It's time for the Madison, and I'm gonna stand in the back, and then it's gonna rotate, and I'm gonna be in the front.
Right.
Great. I'm just like waiting for Run until that. And then even then I'm like, oh, depending on the way they're staging it, I don't get to come in until really like the second half of the number.
Right, yeah. When they finally make it into the record shop, which is like halfway through the song.
And listen until dance break just to go thrust.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, right. And I know you've worked with Rob Harris before.
I have, yeah.
In Hairspray, like he's someone who I've always like taken a lot of things from too, because it's like, great, I could do this to the side for 4 and this to the side for 4. Or I could go 1, 2, ha, ha, oh. Right. Why are we creating the same thing we know? Like, I love it. So Memphis is so strong because I call it a reverse Hairspray because, one, you get to see, it's a marathon. And
yes, it is.
The Beale Street Ensemble gets to just like sing and dance number after number after number, as opposed to Hairspray, which, you know, it will always sell out. So people continuously do it, but so can Memphis. And I'm just like, I get it. Like and my favorite line from any white cast member, wow, you would make such a great Corny's kid if you were white. Who you telling? Give me some glasses, call me IQ. Give me a guitar, call me Fender. I know. I can pony with the rest of y'all.
I can't. Oh my God.
Like, but
I'll give you good old Charleston.
I can give you this Charleston,
right?
This, like stiff body. Oh my gosh, Kyrus. But I'm
super excited for you because I mean that's number one. That's a great theater. The Candlelight Theater in Delaware, and number two, it's a great show. And like you said, if you are a Black artist, singer, dancer, performer that is looking for a show to do this fall, look no further than Memphis. If you're looking for a show that will challenge you vocally, physically, if you want it to challenge you as an actor, there's so much to it. And I had the pleasure, I did this show a couple years ago, and I played Del Rey. And it was so much fun. And I didn't think that I was going to have that much fun because honestly, when I auditioned for it, I didn't know too much about it. I knew it won like a bunch of awards, and I knew that, you know, I knew some of the. What's the song at the end that they sing?
Still Your Rock and Roll.
Yeah, Still Your Rock and Roll. That's the only song that I knew. That's the only one that I knew. So I went in audition. They're like, hey, you should audition for Del Rey. I was like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. And I went in. I was like, okay, whatever. This sounds fine. He has a pretty cool song, pretty chill song, whatever. And then as I started listening to the music and like reading the story, I was like, this show is great. Why isn't this show done more often? Oh, I know. I know why.
And like, I don't put it like, it's funny because then, you know, we put all these theaters in such compromising positions. So we're like, don't do the show if you don't have the cast for it. But it's like, oh, well, you only bring back the same actors, so like you don't even know that you probably do have the cast for it.
Right.
You need to do the show to take risk, but if you don't get them, then don't do it.
Because we were thinking the same thing. Because when we did The Wiz, our biggest fear was that we weren't going to be able to get the cast that we needed to do the show, because we wanted to do an all black, all person of color, I should say, production of The Wiz, and we got.
I remember I asked you that, and I was so nervous. Like I think like the artistic director was around. I was like, because I think someone might have come in who either was white or somebody who was just like super. Actually, no, it was someone who just wasn't black but was super talented, and I was just like, so just like, is that cool? Like, I just don't know. Like, what are we going for? Because again, I'm meeting everyone today. Like,
right. I knew right from the jump. I was like, we're doing a all person of color cast because I want to show this area that it can be done. It can be done, and we did it. And the cast to this day is still tight knit. We just did a Wiz cast reunion via Zoom earlier last week, or I don't know. All the days are starting to blend together at this point.
Amen.
But we got together, and we're still close. And this show was back in what, October, November, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was that long ago. And but we're still like tight knit and able to enjoy each other's company and support each other.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't happen. Getting a show of literally like all people of color, everybody was a person of color in that cast, and I would say 75% of the production team was a person of color, I guess, so like that was really, really important to us, and we did it, and we did a damn good show. I think that The Wiz was the highest grossing show of the season. Yeah, it was the highest grossing show of the season, and like that says a lot. That not only could we cast it, but the people came out. People would come straight from church, and they would come catch the 2:00 matinee of The Wiz.
Yes, they would. Yes,
it was so much fun, and I'm so happy that I met you. And so I wrote down things that I admire about you. And one of the things that are two things that I admire about you, and I kind of said this before, your energy and your skill. Every rehearsal that you came into, every performance, even if we were just doing like the pre-show huddle, you come in just like excited, and that's contagious. That is
if you're gonna be here, let's be here. Like, let's go.
Right. And I feel like, you know what? A lot of us took performing for granted, and now that we can't do it, we miss things like that. We miss the Devons that come out and like, hey guys, don't take this for granted. Let's give it your all every single time. Right. And now that you can't perform, you're missing that shit, aren't you? You wish that last performance that you did, you wish you gave a little bit more, don't you?
I should have kicked that face a little higher.
Right? But I admire that about you, and I take that to improve myself, because I like you, I take things from the people that I work with, whether it's as an actor or as if I look at my fellow directors or just even my fellow just Black artists. I take the things that I see them doing, and I'm like, that's brilliant, because I see people latch onto that and become part of your like family, and like that is beautiful. So your energy and your skill is fantastic, and I bow down to you, sir.
Hey, dude, it goes both ways. I mean, it blows my mind. I mean, it doesn't, because it makes sense, but you smile and people are like, there it is. There it is. Like that's the vibe. That's the vibe with Kai.
That's right, man. Always smile. And the smiles are contagious. Come on now.
And I don't know. I appreciate that so much, because I think like when I saw like the first hashtag, like Black Boy Joy, I was like, yo, that's everything I've ever wanted to say summed up in like 3 compacted words in a hashtag. Yes. And you created your own world here where it's like people want to know. People they're like, what's up with Kyrus? Like, I'm feeling down. I just want to like reach out to the bro Kai, and I'm like, it all starts with a smile. But what the best part is that it starts with a Black smile. Like,
yes,
like it's not.
Dude, I am all about just Black excellence. I want to support my fellow Black artists, male, female, people of color. I just want to support us and lift us up, man. Because I'm telling you, we need to support each other and stick together. We need each other for real.
Cheers.
Dude, cheers to that. 100% cheers. So to kind of wrap this up here, one thing I like to always ask people is, what is your word of the day? Like your motivational word of the day, or it could be a serious word, it could be a quote, it could be anything. But what is like a phrase or a word that has gotten you by recently? In times when it's like things can seem a little down. What is something that has gotten by for you? Gotten you by, I should say.
I actually, and I'm gonna make sure I don't misquote it.
Yes.
There is a brilliant artist. Her name's Kristen Pope. She is. I was recently supposed to do. Wow, it just came right up. Bodyguard at the Walnut, and she was the dance captain. She works there so regularly, and she's very brilliant. And we did a Zoom call, and with all of the uncertainty surrounding Corona, just surrounding theaters, life in general, it's her current motto, and I think I've shared it a lot because I'm like, yeah. She says, allow yourself space and grace to feel and heal. Give yourself however much time However, if you want to be ugly and cry, if you're happy with what's going on because you're finally not working and you get to be at home with your family, whatever it is, however you're feeling, allow yourself just the space and the grace to do it at your own tempo, your own speed, at your heart's rate, to feel what you want to feel and heal in your own way. And I'm not a very like Zen world, like, yes, let the nature speak to you person generally. But like, for whatever reason, that quote has like been sticking out to me. And I'm like, and I think it humanizes me, because a lot of my friends try to remind me that I'm human, because I tend to be someone who's like, I can just let's do a 13-hour day. I don't need to eat. Let's go.
Right.
And like it happened. Like, and I genuinely mean it. Like, usually I can go. But even in this quarantine, as much as I'm like staying positive, I'm watching this Netflix show, I'm doing this TikTok dance, I'm choreographing just for the sake of choreographing, I'm teaching like a dance class every Tuesday, and it's like I'm finding my artistry and I'm still staying sane. There are those days where things just happen and I'm like, whoa. It's even if it is that 10 minutes where I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm going through it. With all the stuff that just happened with Ahmaud Arbery, I was having like a rough morning. Like, and that quote just kind of was like, yup. You don't have to apologize for feeling. You don't have to apologize for crying. You don't have to apologize for anything that you're feeling. Just, allow yourself the space and grace to feel and heal. And I'm like,
I love that. What was her name? What was her name?
Kristen Pope.
Kristen Pope. Kristen Pope. Props to you. You are preaching the word right now, and I hope people grasp onto that. Devon, thank you so much, man. Thank you for taking time out of your day from cooking. And thank you so much for sitting down with me, man. I look forward to the day that we work together again, man. Yeah. Like, you are a joy both on the stage and off. And I can't wait for it, dude.
Dude, I'm actually like waiting for the day where I want us to fill out all the checks. So right now we've done like both on the creative side. Yeah. Now I'm like, okay, I want to be under Kyrus, where I'm in the cast, and I want to swap it, like, and I want to read through both on the creative. Like, I want to check all the boxes.
Yes, I am there. And on top of that, once this whole Corona thing is done, we are hanging out in the city, and we're going to be able to cheers in person.
I'm gonna listen. I'm still trying to have you work out all those muscles in those legs and get like, we're gonna hit the club. It's what
dude. Once this Corona thing is done, the day that Philadelphia opens back up, you might find me passed out in the middle of the street in front of like.
Oh, bro, come here! I got a pull-out couch. I got you.
I'm just going all out. I'm going all out, dude. But Devon, honestly, thank you so much for sitting down with me. For everybody else, if you enjoyed watching this, once again, please be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Vibe with Kai. Follow me on Snapchat at Kyrus Keenan. If you send me a smile, I will send you a smile back. Follow me on TikTok at Kyrus Keenan. We go live every Wednesday at 8:00 p.m. And for all things Kyrus and all things my friends and all things my family, visit my website at thevibewithkai.com. Thank you so much for watching, Devon. Thank you. You're a joy.
Listen, this vibe is taking me through the rest of the night. It's not stopping.
Hey, this is how we roll. Yes. So, thank you so much, everybody else. Have a wonderful day. I love y'all. Good vibes.